Okay, let's see what Lil Marco has to say.
Now to the U.S. Secretary of State in Washington, D.C., Marco Rubio, who's speaking.
Field commanders, it was automatic, and in fact it bear to be true, because in fact within an hour of the initial attack on the leadership compound, the missile forces in the south and in the north, for that matter, had already been activated to launch. In fact, those had already been pre-positioned. The third is the assessment that was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an...
Wait, are they going to say that they actually knew that there was going to be an attack?
Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And
oh, okay, so that's how it's preemptive for us. We did a preemptive strike after Israel's preemptive strike. So Israel did the first preemptive strike, right? Iran was going to attack Israel. And so then Israel did the first preemptive strike. But then America, before Iran could respond to Israel, America then knew that Iran was actually going to immediately attack Americans. And so America did the second preemptive strike. So the order of operations: Israel does a preemptive strike, America does a preemptive strike, and then finally Iran's original attack that they had been planning to launch regardless of those preemptive strikes went off. That's how it happened, I think.
And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act. Going back to the purpose of this is to destroy that missile capability. Why does Iran want that ballistic missile capability? What they are
to stop this shit from happening.
Trying to do, and have been trying to do for a very long time, is build a conventional weapons capability as a shield where they can hide behind. Meaning...
notoriously offensive weapon, a shield. What is, dude, like, they're creating a shield to hide behind. Like, you should have used any other analogy, like a sword or like a crossbow or something. I don't know. Like, you chose the one piece of weaponry, or like armor, I guess, that is just known for protecting people.
Come a point where they have so many conventional missiles, so many drones, and it can inflict so much damage that no one can do anything about their nuclear program. That is what they were trying to do, is put themselves in a place of immunity where the damage they could inflict on the region would be so high that no one can do anything about their nuclear program or their nuclear ambitions. They are producing, by some estimates, over
apparently it wasn't high enough, though. Apparently they needed a little bit more deterrence because clearly this happened. So maybe if they had, just a little tiny nuke, maybe they could have, maybe we wouldn't have fucked with them so much. But
100 of these missiles a month. Compare that to the 6 or 7 interceptors that can be built a month. They can build 100 of these a month, not to mention the thousands of one-way attack drones that they also have. They've been doing this for a very long time, and by the way, they've been doing it under sanction. You see the attacks.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, right, honestly.
They're attacking airports. They're attacking hotels.
Like, this amount of destructive capability when they've been sanctioned, like, to all hell for the past, like, I mean, I guess primarily since last Trump administration when he tore up the deal, but, like, this amount of productive capability under sanctions is kind of a minor miracle. Like, it's very impressive that they were able to build this many missiles and this many drones.
Not just military bases, they're attacking our embassies directly. They're attacking facilities that have nothing to do with war or with military, and that's a weakened Iran. That's in Iran despite years of sanction. Imagine a year from now, or a year and a half from now, the capabilities they would have to inflict damage on us. It's an unacceptable risk, especially in the hands of a regime that's run by radical clerics.
On us? Who's us? Like, do they think they're going to get intercontinental ballistic missiles? Like, I don't know. I'm assuming they mean Israel.
The Ayatollah was a radical cleric. That entire
maybe he's still alive. He slipped up. Maybe he's hanging out with Epstein over in Israel. I don't know.
Who don't make geopolitical decisions. They make decisions on the basis of theology, their view of theology, which is an apocalyptic one. That has to be taken very seriously.
Again, like I say, this is so funny coming from him because I can't remember. He might be Catholic, but like so many Americans are Christian Zionists who literally believe that like we need to or like we need to allow Israel to bring in the end times. Like that's like the basis of their political understanding. Like every single thing that they say is just projection. It's so crazy.
As well. So that was the purpose for what this operation is all about. That's what it's focused on. As the president said earlier today, it is on or ahead of schedule. I will defer to the Department of War to discuss the progress being made at a tactical level, but it was the right decision and an important decision for the safety and security of the world.
Personal resources. Does Congress have to weigh in? Does Congress have to be the one to declare war? If only, man, you know, it'd be crazy. Like if only we had written down all of the rules of the country somewhere. Like, oh God, if we could have just like gotten like a big sheet of paper and like written down all of the rules of the country, then we could like go back and look at them and be like, oh, Congress, oh yeah, it's Congress that's supposed to declare war, not the president, not the executive branch. Man, we really messed up by not creating something. Like, what would we call it? Maybe like it constitutes a bunch of things, right? Like it constitutes all of the rules, like all of the rules of the, like maybe we should call it like the Constitution or something. Like that would be, I think that would have been a great idea that they should have done.
No. There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded. Because the Department of War assessed that if we did that,
this is such loophole-ass logic. Like, technically, Iran was going to respond to us if Israel attacked, so we preemptive strike them because like we knew Israel was going to attack. Like they might have broken the law, but we definitely knew they were going to respond to us, so we had to preemptive strike at the same time.
Them to hit us first after they were attacked.
Like they should become lawyers, man, instead of doing this. Like a lot less people would die if they just became like dweeby little lawyers.
And by someone else, Israel attacked them, they hit us first, and we waited for them to hit us, we would suffer more casualties and more deaths. We went proactively in a defensive way to prevent them from inflicting higher damage. Had we not done so, there would have been hearings on Capitol Hill about how we knew that this was going to happen, and we didn't act preemptively to prevent more casualties and more loss of life. No, first of all, let me do two things I would say. Number one is, no matter what, ultimately this operation needed to happen. That's the question of why now. But this operation needed to happen because Iran in about a year or a year and a half would cross the line of immunity, meaning they would have so many short-range missiles, so many drones, that no one could do anything about it because they could hold the whole world hostage. Look at the damage they're doing now. And this is a weakened Iran. Imagine a year from now. So that had to happen.
Did we already hear this? He said the same thing.
So we were aware of Israeli intentions and understood what that would mean for us, and we had to be prepared to act as a result of it. But this had to happen no matter what.
President Trump said overnight that his top choices to now run Iran were killed in the strikes. Does the United States have a firm plan for how they intend to handle this power vacuum in Iran to ensure that an Iranian hardliner does not take power?
So two things, and two things can be true. Number one is our mission and our focus is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities and their ability to manufacture them, as well as the threat posed by their Navy to global shipping. That's the objective. That said, we would not mind, we would not be heartbroken, and we hope that the Iranian people can overthrow this government and establish a new future for that country. We would love for that to be possible. But the objective of this mission is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities and of their...
They're already tamping down that expectation. I think they're just kind of, you know, like that reasoning served its purpose. It's gone now.
Naval capabilities.
So are you saying, based on that, are you saying that there is no responsibility, no plan for the U.S. to play a role in what
no plan?
We might. We'll see how circumstances play out. But I'm telling you what the objectives of this operation are. The objectives of this operation are to destroy.
Oof. All the neoliberals right there. They're just like, oh no. We thought you were going to install a puppet regime. What are you doing?
Destroy their ballistic missile capability and make sure they can't rebuild it. and make sure that they can't hide behind that to have a nuclear program. That's the objective of the mission. That said, abundantly clear, we would love for there to be an Iran that's not governed by radical Shia clerics. As I've said myself repeatedly for years, the leadership of that country does not reflect the people of Iran, and I think that's been pretty apparent in the protests that you've seen.
Dude, while all this is going on, like, all of these other countries that have been fucked with, like, they need to, like, start just, like, sending oil to Cuba, like, now. Like, America is too bogged down. Like, this is your chance. Get some oil to Cuba as soon as possible. They need that shit. Like, like, what are you doing?
If there's something we can do to help them down the road,
this is like the one benefit of like an empire overextending itself and lashing out is like you can like take your opportunities to go, you know, go help all of the other countries we've fucked around with, like China. Please send Cuba some oil.
To be open to it, but that's not the objective. The objective of this mission is the destruction of their ballistic missile capability.
Regime change has not gone well for the United States.
The what now?
Regime change has not gone well for the United States.
You can say that again.
Many, many decades. How do you assure the American public that things will not get worse for the next regime that comes in and replaces the actual?
Well, we would love to see this regime be replaced. And ultimately, as the president has said, he calls... No, but let me finish my answer. As the president has said, he would love for the people of Iran to use this as an opportunity to rise up and remove these leaders. They've been wanting to remove them from a long time. We've seen successive waves of protests, and we've seen them slaughter people, okay? But the objective of this mission is to make sure they don't have these weapons that can threaten us and our allies in the region. That's why we're doing what we're doing now. And while we would love to see a new regime, the bottom line is no matter who governs that country a year from now, they're not going to have these ballistic missiles and they're not going to have these drones to threaten us. That's the objective of this mission, is to deny them the ability to use ballistic missiles to threaten their neighbors, to threaten our bases, to threaten our presence in the region, and ultimately as a shield behind which they can do whatever they want with their nuclear weapons ambition. We were not going to let them hide behind that, and that's why this was such a critical mission to undertake now while they were at the weakest point, and not a year from now where they could inflict even more damage and perhaps already be behind that point of immunity.
I don't understand that logic either. They're saying that Iran is going to become stronger and stronger in the future. Like they're just going to keep getting stronger and stronger and getting more and more missiles to the point that they'll be unstoppable. But yet they're currently at their weakest moment. Like, were they not getting stronger and stronger the whole time before? Why didn't you do this 5 years ago? Why didn't you do this 10 years ago? Like, that's just a dumb reasoning for, like, that's a nonsensical answer.
Go right here behind. Go you and then you. Yes.
Your critics in Congress have said that they should have a role, they should be able to weigh in here, and there are going to be war powers resolutions votes in Congress later this week. Why not notify Congress?
I'm curious how that's going to go, the war powers resolution. Like, I would guess, like, it might pass at this point because this war already seems to be so unpopular. Like they might not want to be on record being in support of the war, like already. Because usually it takes a little while for a war to become so unpopular that like it's embarrassing to have your name associated with it. But this one is like right off the bat, it feels like it's incredibly unpopular.
Congress ahead of this, and does Congress...
Well, we did. We notified Congress. I mean, we notified the Gang of Eight. We notified congressional leadership.
There's no
law that requires us to do that. The law says we have to notify them 48 hours after beginning hostilities. We've done that. I think the notification went today. But we did notify members of Congress in advance. But we can't notify...
We sent out a push notification. We sent a push notification out to all of the Congress members that said, going to war today, fire emoji. And they said, oh, okay, cool.
Well, the Congress can vote on whatever they want, but there's no law that requires us to do that. And I want to say something because I see people on TV. Look, that's fine. If they want to take a war powers vote, they can do that. They've done that. They've done that a bunch of times. But there's no, people keep saying that there's no law that requires the president to have done anything with regards to this. To begin with,
just
no
the Constitution.
Presidential administration has ever accepted the War Powers Act as constitutional. Not Republican presidents, not Democratic presidents.
I mean,
that
that's
said,
true.
We have followed the notification at 48 hours.
It's been pretty bipartisan to just go to war whenever the president, whenever the State Department says so, regardless of what Congress says. But like it definitely is the law though.
We're here today. I've done more Gang of Eight briefings than I got in the 4 years that Biden was president and I was a member of the Gang of Eight. All of that said, we've complied with the law 100%, and we're going to continue to comply with it. We've done the notification, and
you really got to limit the amount of times you say Gang of Eight, like in a conversation, because like the first time you kind of let it slide, but then afterwards it gets more and more cringe every time they say it.
We officially to Congress, but we did notify members of Congress. We just can't notify 535 people. That's not possible.
It's not possible.
We did the Gang of Eight twice. I briefed.
It's not possible to notify 525 people. Like. I mean, I'm pretty sure that YouTube has a thing that, like, you can notify, like, hundreds of thousands of people that you're, like, going live, And I think going to war is a little bit more important than going live. Like, they should really develop some sort of, like, push notification system so that they can notify all the members of Congress.
I briefed them last week, and then I called them the night before the operation.
So, you know what you know, Mr. Secretary, the administration knows about the strike on a building in southern Iran. The Iranians saying it's a school, reports of large numbers of civilians, including children killed.
Yeah, I've seen those reports. I would refer you, not because I'm not trying to answer your question, but I don't want to get it wrong. The Department of War would be investigating that if that was our strike. War. And I would refer your question to them, and I'll make sure they're aware that you have that question. But we'd like to know. Well, clearly, the United States would not deliberately target a school. Our objectives are missiles, both the ability to...
Never. We would never do that. We leave all our dirty work to Israel. They do that shit.
Manufacture them and the ability to launch them, and the one-way attract drones. That would be our focus, and that's what we would be focused on. We would have no interest and, frankly, no incentive to target civilian infrastructure. The Iranians are, on the other hand, targeting civilian infrastructure. I'm sure you've seen it. They're hitting hotels. They're hitting embassies. They're hitting airports.
To be fair, they have said that like military members were evacuated to those hotels. Whether they should be doing that or not is, I don't know, but but that is their like justification. And like again, war criminals can't like accuse others of war crimes. Like it just doesn't hold any water. Like it's not a compelling argument.
They're hitting oil infrastructure. Well, it'd be very tragic, but I can't speak to the details behind it because I just don't have it. It would be a tragic outcome if it's happened. I don't have the details as to what led to it. But what is clear that the United States would not deliberately target a school. They are, on the other hand, deliberately targeting civilians, as you've seen, because you know why? They are a terroristic regime.
They're like children, dude. It's like whatever you say, I'm bubblegum, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me, sticks to you. Like they just keep saying like, no you, no you, no you.
They sponsor terrorism and they participate in terrorism.
What's your message to Americans who are concerned about rising energy prices given the spiking of oil prices?
I'm concerned.
Yes, and we knew that going in would be a factor, and so we have a program in place that will begin to be implemented by Secretary Wright, Secretary Best, and we talked about it last night. Again, about this program, we talked this morning, and starting tomorrow, you will see us rolling out those phases to try to mitigate against that. Obviously, markets are going to be reacting.
Yeah, right, dude. This is just face saving. Like there's nothing they're gonna do. They're not gonna help the working class at all. Like, what are they gonna give some sort of like gas stipend or send out some Trump checks? No, they're not gonna do anything. We're not gonna get like any sort of relief from oil prices. We're not gonna get any sort of relief from energy prices. Like, I don't know. That's silly. Like they might do something to help the like importers or like the oil like oligarchs and stuff, but I don't think we're gonna see any relief.
To news about what's happening. And again, a reminder, think about it, okay? This terroristic regime led by radical clerics has the ability potentially.
Can we just drop the whole word terrorism at this point? Like it's lost all meaning. Like I don't know. It's a pointless term. I've always thought it was a pointless term, but especially now it's a pointless term. Like it's still, I think, it's still a lot of people I think still get triggered to like, be rah-rah America whenever they hear the word terrorism, but it quite honestly is just like replacement for the word savage that was used before. Like, so it's just our violence good, your violence bad. Like, again, no you sort of shit. Like, that, like, I just hope that one day it just continues to lose all meaning and eventually gets retired from the vocabulary of all of these warmongers.
To shut off 20% of global energy. That's the kind of leverage they have because of their Navy. We're going to destroy their Navy. But there is a plan in place. We anticipated this could be an issue, and Secretary Wright and Besson will begin to roll out those steps starting tomorrow.
It's always funny how they always have a plan, but they never say what the plan is.
To mitigate against the impact that could have. I got to do this briefing, so I got a couple more. Yeah.
He's a busy boy.
Putting boots on the ground, and how long do you anticipate the conflict to last?
Well, we don't. Let me say two things about it. Number one, the president always has the options to undertake whatever operations he decides to do as the commander-in-chief. That said, we believe the objective that we have set for this mission, which is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities, both launch capability and manufacturing, can be achieved without ground forces. Right now, we're not postured for ground forces, but obviously the president has those options. He's never going to rule out anything. But right now, our focus is on the destruction of their ballistic missile launchers, their ballistic missile stockpiles, and their ballistic missile manufacturing capability, as well as their one-way attract drones and their Navy, because of the threat it poses to global shipping.
Okay. I'm done with Lil Marco now.